what I've gotten involved in, what I'm trying to do now, is help get people to understand and know what the fair tax is. Because 9 times out of 10, when you talk to people and tell them what it is, they say, wow, that sounds great. Never heard of that before. So most people like it, but then the other thing they say is, but it'll never happen. The problem with that attitude is, it'll never happen if everyone feels that way. It's time to start standing up the way we are and start educating people on what it is and getting the movement going with the people. Calling our representatives and telling them what's going on. John F. Kennedy, November 20th, 1962, in a press conference, said these words about our tax system. Our present tax system exerts too heavy a drag on growth. It reduces the financial incentives for personal effort, investment, and risk-taking. The present tax load distorts economic judgments and channels an undue amount of energy into efforts to avoid tax liabilities. Our tax code today is over 67,000 pages. Nobody in their right mind can get through that and understand it and fill it out the same way and file your taxes the same way. In 2005, the average American spent over 27 hours working on their taxes to file their taxes. They're going through, and according to Money Magazine, more than half of the people in the United States went and paid somebody to pay the government for them. Okay, Terrible Tax, H&R Block, any of those places. You go and get your taxes done. But here's the other part that Money Magazine also talked about: 99% of them will have filed an incorrect return as it is. What we're looking at is basically taxation without comprehension. Our tax forms have gotten so complicated that many people who collect their receipts and financial documents all year long say at the end of the year they can claim those and get that money back, give up on it, and say, forget it, throw it away, move on, and they end up paying the government way more than they owe. There's even those who can claim a mortgage deduction who will choose to just go, I'm just going to do the simple form this year. That's money that we shouldn't, that we're paying too much. Financial and business decisions. How many of those are being based on tax obligations over maximizing their income, maximizing profit, maximizing their business, growing their business, and providing jobs? According to the Congressional Budget Office, when the Fair Tax book was written, tax decisions versus economic decisions cost us 18% of gross domestic product. More stats from the Tax Foundation from 2005. Individuals, businesses, and nonprofit organizations spent 6 billion hours putting together their taxes just to comply with our current tax code. That's a cost of an estimated $265 billion. At 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's a workforce of almost 3 million people. You talk about a huge waste of human resources.
Yep.
That's almost $900 from every man, woman, and child. With the fair tax, we're talking about lowering these compliance costs by 90% overall. And when we say overall, for the individual, it's 100% reduction because no longer do you have to worry about forms that you got to fill out, saving receipts, saving this and that, trying to show and prove this, and worrying about an audit that you didn't do it right. All you have to do is when you go and buy your new goods and services, you get a receipt. And on your receipt it says your item was this much, fair tax was this much. Right there, visible, transparent. Give you an idea of just what the fair tax looks to bring to us. The economists that have done the research and looked at it have all said in the first year the economy would grow by 10.5%. Exports. Our nation's exports would grow by 26%, and capital spending would go up by 70%. Now what that capital spending means is the American worker would become more productive, and therefore his paycheck would go up in exact correspondence with that spending. In our time of day, with our unemployment rate going up higher and higher, what does economic growth mean to us? Jobs.
Jobs and jobs.
As the economy goes up, the federal revenue from the consumption taxes go up, right? As people earn more, many people want to spend more. When the bill was written, if we had had the fair tax, they found that the government revenue would have gone up for the past 15 out of 16 quarters. In 1997, Congress had a joint tax committee. They sent 9 teams of experts out to model the impact of a consumption tax on the economy. All 9, liberal, conservative, all found that the economy would grow faster under that system. Some said it would grow slower, some said it would grow faster, but all of them, whether it was slower or faster, was all faster than our current system. Now imagine keeping the hundreds of billions of dollars that we just talked about used to comply with these taxes in your pocket. And it used by businesses to spend, to invest, or to create jobs. That would be about equal to a $4 trillion tax cut over the next 10 years without cutting government revenues. Another thing that economists are unanimous on, if you raise the amount that people have in their personal savings, that is the key to a growing and robust economy. Well, virtually every study on the fair taxes has concluded that poor people to rich people under the fair tax would start to save or invest. Virtually every study has shown that. Now, if you take payroll tax and FICA and these complicated tax forms that businesses have to keep up with in their businesses, businesses can concentrate on job creation, on growing their business, instead of trying to keep all these crazy payroll records.